So today I wanted to talk about a big topic and a big problem in darts, which is whistling. Well, imagine a competition in a tournament, big tournament, maybe top players playing at a good level, and you have both players trying not to make any mistakes, so they can win the match. And then you have maybe a sudden death leg, and one of the players wants to finish a leg, and suddenly right before or right the moment when he throws his dart, there's someone in the crowd whistling, and also especially in a moment when everything's tensed up and everyone's quiet because they're so focused on the game, and then somebody whistles, it throws off the concentration of the player completely, and also you get a kind of a panic that the next time you throw a dart, there's going to be another whistle and your concentration is going to break again. And these kind of like small things can make a huge impact on the game and sometimes ruin the whole match, not only for the person who is throwing, but also for everyone else, because most of the people who go to the venues, they want to have a good competition, want two players going head to head, and the one playing better that day gets the reward of the win. And sadly, it's only one, two, three people needed for that experience to get ruined. And so the darts world has like somewhat good solutions. One of them is like to just throw those people out, which I think is very like they have the right to do so. You know, there's rules when you go to an event, and even though you've paid for the ticket, doesn't mean that you can behave anywhere where you want. And well, you're ruining the whole event for everyone else. So this just you have all the rights to do so. But the problem is that the moment is gone, you know. And when somebody whistles at the end of the match is over afterwards. You can't like redo it, or the only thing you can do is like prevent that person to whistle again in another match. But maybe there's someone else then whistling for some other match. And the other solution is for the caller to ask the people politely to stop whistling, stop trying to mess with people's mind on the stage. And well, sometimes it works. Usually it just provokes those people, you know. If they do, like, they know what they are doing, they usually know what kind of damage they do to those people. Maybe not that it ruins the whole experience for everyone, or they just don't care, you know. But I think usually when the caller asks for that, it's a good thing to stand up for the people, or like for the players, that they're not like left alone. But usually it doesn't resolve in the problem being solved, you know. So this morning I watched a highlight video of a match in Göttingen between Stephen Bunting and Nico Springer. And one somewhat obvious thing is that when you're in Germany and you're not a German player and you play against a German player, of course the crowd is on the German player's side, and sometimes that results in boos, in whistles, and all kinds of other stuff, which is, I think, is quite pathetic and unsportsmanlike, disrespectful, and it's also not necessary. You know, you can cheer for the person you like. I think that's a good thing, and I don't think anyone has something against that. But I don't think you should sabotage anyone. And this match was quite like a good example of just that happening, you know, people whistling, people booing, and they're just trying to sabotaging Stephen Bunting the best they could. And well, as a person who's like in this venue, in the audience, you get the feeling that you can't really do anything. You know, you can like confront those people and talk to them and like try to hinder them from whistling, but you can't like put your hands on them. And the only thing you could do is like ask for the security. But the problem remains, you can only do that. You can barely ever do that in advance. But there was one scene at the end of the match which was quite interesting to me and might give a chance for a solution, and actually a good solution which the fans who want to have a good competition can participate in. So the last few darts that Stephen Bunting was throwing, he wanted to throw to finish a leg, and you were hearing people whistle again. And some other people were so annoyed, they wanted to cheer for Stephen Bunting. So they wanted to motivate him. But in that moment when they motivated him, cheering him, and by singing, like chanting songs about him, they did something which helped, like, which could tremendously help him, which is blocking out the whistles.
What a shot this would be. He's right to walk away here.
He is, but I'm not sure if he's going to stop.
An 11-leg battle. Can Stephen Bunting produce a moment of magic to win it?
Fair play to the crowd cheering him on. Try to drown out the whistles. And he very nearly gives himself a chance to win it. Nico.
The problem with the whistles is there's a certain frequency. That frequency is quite high, like 2 kilohertz, between 2 kilohertz and 4 kilohertz. And this is like one of the highest frequencies that the human ear can hear. And that means that not only is the problem that when it's quiet and then there's this sudden noise, which is also already like irritating, but then there's also the frequency. So meaning, like, if you were to have like a somewhat moderate atmosphere where like people were talking, and then you would have one person shouting, that wouldn't be too like right in your ear, because the frequency is about the same as the people talking, just the amount of decibel is not the same. But when you have whistling and then there's people talking and then you have whistling, is a quite difference in the frequencies, because the normal talking is like around 500 hertz. But since I'm a singer, I've learned quite a lot about frequencies and the frequencies of the human voice. So every time you sing a certain note, there's an overtone series vibrating with it. Meaning every note that you sing also has parts in that note which is from that higher frequency. And what opera singers, for instance, do is they try to manipulate the voice so that the higher frequencies get like more denser, you could say. And they use that usually to get over the orchestra, which has also quite high frequencies. And of course you don't have like an opera singer in every crowd singing their hearts out so to drown out the whistles, but your regular singing also involves these frequencies. Meaning in those moments when it's getting tense and people are singing, they hit those frequencies. And also singing is a good thing, because it's not like just a singular moment where somebody's shouting something in there. It's like a constant noise, which is not surprising you, you know. So meaning, for instance, we have that deciding leg. We have Stephen Bunting trying to finish on double. And then you have those people cheering and chanting a song, and suddenly those chants hit the frequency of the whistles, and suddenly all this like penetrating sound of the whistling, all this surprising moment of this whistling gets drowned out. So I think this could be a somewhat solution for the fans to help the players and the competition to be somewhat fair, and also a good way to work against those people trying to ruin the competition.